You think, summing this all up, I'm going to keep paying taxes into this? You think I will stand by and pretend it's all noble? You think I let my kids grow up here in the middle of a geopolitical suicide? This is insane. Absolutely not. And if you look at these things combined, it's so obviously, painfully obvious where the path is heading and leading us. This is, without exaggeration, one of the most important videos in my Why I'm Leaving Germany series. Maybe the most important video. And I didn't include it in my earlier videos for one reason. Because this topic is too heavy, too big, too brutally honest, and it deserves its own stage. So here it is. What I'm going to say now is the real reason why I'm leaving Germany, or one of the most important reasons, not the convenient one, not the polite one, the truth under everything. And if you listen closely, you will understand why I simply cannot and will not raise my children in a country that is sleepwalking into war while pretending everything is fine. I just cannot keep up with that hypocrisy and that moral contradiction for my children. War is boiling under the surface. You can feel it. You can see it everywhere in the budget. You see it in the political body language. You see it in the language. You see it in the lack of diplomacy. But war isn't the real problem. It's a symptom of something boiling underneath the surface, deeper than that. The truth is, our political and financial system is reaching the end of its shelf life, which is occurring every around 80 to 120 years. Every debt cycle ends the same, with repression, crisis, financial repression, wealth transfer, and reset. And when a monetary regime cracks, governments, politicians need something bigger to justify the reset. This time, that something is war, or at least the fear of it. The signs are everywhere. Europe's military defense spending are jumping year by year by year. The biggest increases we have seen in recent years since the Cold War. Germany accidentally, magically finds 100 billion here, another 100 billion here for weapons, for defense spending. Just like that, out of thin air, out of the blue. But somehow has no budget for hospitals, schools, infrastructure, or even the Christmas market now. This isn't peacekeeping. This isn't defense. This is mobilization. And before anyone tries to twist my words around as Russian lover or Putin understander, let me be absolutely clear. I'm not defending Russia. I'm not praising Russia. Russia has done things I will never justify. But we also must be brutally honest. Europe and NATO have not been calm, neutral peacemakers. That's a fairy tale. For 20 years, we escalated step by step, expanding military infrastructure to Russia's border, ignoring every security red line, installing missile systems, adding new NATO members step by step, year by year, arming Ukraine long before 2022 and moralizing every move as defensive when in fact they were aggressive and provocative. Any serious geopolitical analyst, not propagandist nor cheerleader, but real analyst, knows this creates a security dilemma, a predictable chain of escalation. You don't need to love Russia to see this pattern. You need just basic honesty. And Germany plays a moral grandmaster while hiding behind NATO, provoking from behind the curtains, outsourcing responsibility to Washington and pretending it's all about peace. More hypocrisy not possible. Politicians pretend they are defending peace, yet when you follow the money and not the speeches, you see immediately Europe is not preparing for peace. Europe is preparing for the survival of the economic and financial system collapse that's about to come. A system drowning in an impossible debt, rising debt, negative real rates, permanent inflation, broken demographic futures, cultural problems, no growth, no tech, no innovative outlook, a system that is drowning in bureaucracy, lack of innovation, regulations, and especially a political class terrified of losing control. A combination of these factors, a system built and looking like this, is just one step away from the ultimate collapse. History shows it clearly. When a currency system dies, governments can choose reset or default. It's obvious they never choose default. They will always choose reset by nature. However, you cannot sell a reset during peace and normal times. You need a crisis mode. You cannot sell a digital euro with surveillance and programmable money control during peace. People would reject it instantly. So you need something bigger, something existential, a threat that is building up, something that makes citizens, all of us, willing to surrender to their financial sovereignty for safety. And that something bigger as war, or at least the permanent threat or fear of it. This is the psychological architecture behind every monetary reset in history. You create a crisis, we have seen that with COVID. Fear, a constant state of emergency, then slowly but surely financial repression, control, propaganda, that will all lead you into a permanent system change. We are living through the beginning of it now. As I said, we have seen the beginnings with COVID, crisis fear, and a constant emergency state. The digital euro is not innovation, it's not modernization, it's not convenience, it's control. Understand that. Once money becomes software, those in power gain the following: absolute traceability, spending limits, negative interest enforcement on an individual or collective basis, individual censorship, capital controls at wallet, monetary, individual level. No escape, no anonymity, no sovereignty. You become 100% transparent. And again, who would accept that voluntarily? Nobody. But in a war, in a state of constant emergency, a state of constant threat, when the political class tells you this is the only way to protect the system and your individuality, your safety, people will accept everything. Europe knows this, the ECB knows this, European leaders, Germany, France know this. This isn't conspiracy, it's clearly historical pattern. Let me say this directly, brutally and honestly. I will never allow my children to serve a political system like this, even though I myself have been spending time in the army. I will not let my children die and be by themselves in a non-perspective geopolitical suicide system. A system run by politicians, career politicians with competence, self-serving bureaucrats, leaders who provoke knowingly or unknowingly escalation, leaders who moralize while in themselves, leaders who wouldn't even send their own children to war, but will gladly send yours, mine, everyone's. This isn't loyalty, this isn't leadership, this is not democracy. This is natural consequence of a globalized world where political incentives are completely misaligned with citizens and countries' interests. The political class acts for itself, not for the nation, not for you. And yet, what is evident and visible is, for my understanding, only the surface of what we touched in terms of lobbyism and corruption. I'm pretty sure of it, but again, this is only my opinion. You think, summing this all up, I'm going to keep paying taxes into this? You think I will stand by and pretend it's all noble? You think I let my kids grow up here in the middle of a geopolitical suicide? This is insane. Absolutely not. Besides the weather and the food, this is why, geographically speaking, I would never move or consider going to Poland. Even though it's economically very impressive, strong, politically sane from my point of view, just by the geographical factor and location, I would not consider moving there. So short time, I said it before, I'm leaving Germany for Spain to the coastline to get out of the city, to trade ideology for quality of life, to give my family a better, sane environment, to distance myself psychologically, mentally, geographically from this dysfunctional environment. But long term, if it hits the fan, and honestly looking at the next 10 years, looking at history, looking at the incentives, looking at debt and the military escalation, the whole system, the collapse we are seeing yet, I think it's inevitable that it will go down. Then I will have to leave Europe entirely, without a flinch, without a big doubt. Because let's be honest, if Europe collapses, you cannot flee west, east, north, south within Europe. You need to think beyond Europe and get out of here. And I will. for my family, for my children, for the perspective overall. Because the path, for me at least, is 100% clear when you follow the money and not the political narratives. I'm not that much into sugarcoating, wask-mirroring activism and moral theater by politicians. I look at incentives, money flow, macrodynamics, and at history. And if you look at these things combined, it's so obviously, painfully obvious where the path is heading and leading us. When governments panic, when monetary systems break, when repression rises, and one thing becomes essential: assets outside the political system. Gold, property, depends where you have it, outside Europe, global diversification, global equities in different systems, quality equities. And yes, of course, also Bitcoin, not speculation, not hype, but sovereignty. Because if your future money becomes programmable, surveyed, controlled, you need something they cannot confiscate, censor, inflate away. This isn't theory, it's clearly history. Guys, Germany is preparing for war. I'm preparing for the future. I said it before, it's time to wake up. Collectively and individually. This is the same as technology. Move on or get left behind. If you want to understand macrodynamics deeper and learn how to protect yourself, to protect your wealth in a reset, subscribe to this channel. And if you want exclusive insights, macro charts, signals, early warning, and my personal strategies, consider joining Macro Ally or Macro Insider below. To everyone already supporting this journey, especially Macro Insiders, thank you. You make all this possible, especially for me to speak up in this brutally honest tone.